Hello, my name is swissbianco. In this video I will show how to change the scales on the 111mm slider lock Swiss Army knife. You know, some of the 111mm Swiss Army knife use the liner lock, and some of the older models, the more earlier version, use kind of a sliding device that is in the right side scale. Basically this part is gonna move. I'm gonna show how that locks. This part here is moving, is sliding. Inside we see this metal tab. That's basically what the lock is, this metal tab. And behind this part is a small spring. The problem is, as the spring is in the scale, the gray part, the sliding part, does not hold into that part, so I can only show these parts separate. You see that silver spring is there, and in front of the spring, this part here would be basically pushing the gray part with the locking tab, the metal tab. What it does, basically, on the 111mm sliding lock, you see that slot here, basically the metal tab goes into that part here. Now the knife is a closed position, the blade is not locked, the metal tab is basically on the back position, on the left side as we watch it now. As I open up the knife, basically the slot where that metal part is in it would move a bit forward and lock it. So this lock actually is not locking the blade, it's locking the spring of the blade. So the spring has a bit U-shaped part here, in here, that we know the spring, you see here, the spring goes all the way back, of course. It powers the corkscrew, nothing special there. And the spring goes around in a U shape, so we see actually really little below here. That is actually part of the spring, and there is where the locking tab will go in, so that the spring can't go up. The spring needs to go up as we fold the blade. I'm gonna reach around my camera and try to move that. Yeah, now you see the end of the spring U shape. See, that's where the locking part would be. It's maybe with the camera a bit hard to see, but it's a pretty simple mechanism. So basically, as we open the blade, the spring comes all the way down. That allows this tab to reach into that U shape of the spring and lock basically the spring, and the spring don't allow the blade to fold, so the blade is locked too. So it's not like a liner lock where we actually lock the blade itself, it's actually locking the spring. Now, for this Swiss Army knife, there are scales in different colors: olive green, red, and this one is black. So what I would do is first we mount the opposite side with a scale. It's easier to mount first this side scale and then the other side because of the locking mechanism. Usually I would do that. This sample knife here is a test sample for myself, so I'm not gonna put on the scales on this side, but there is really nothing special. You see the 3 rivets where the scale will lock in. Have a look on my other video where I show how to change the scales on the 91mm Swiss Army knife. It's exactly the same. So first you're gonna change this scale, and then the more interesting part is this side. I'm gonna use the red one, the more brighter color that you see how that works. The slider mechanism comes in that way. That's the not locked position. This is the locked position. It always has a bit play. It wears in, as we say. So the lock is really tight and works. You see these scales are already used. We see the rim here is damaged by all the rivet. That's a sign that this scale is already used. As I say, is a test sample for me, just to show in this video how that works. Now, as we put in the spring, that part, that small metal spring, it comes just over this little dimple here. The spring is both sides the same, so it doesn't matter how you actually put the spring in. And as I say, as we now put in the locking bar, we just do it that way. It's easy to snap in. I can't let go anymore because the spring tension will drag it out. So I'm gonna use the factory tool, of course, again, to hold the parts in place. I'm gonna show it that way. I have to reach around a bit of the camera that you see how that works. So you see the spring is in there. The mechanism will actually spring load. There is not much you can do wrong. Really not. The tab is in this position, and then we basically gonna put in the closed position. That tab needs to go in here without letting the whole mess go, because the gray part would be forced out of the slot by the spring. That's why I use the assembly tool for holding the thing, and I gonna basically reach around. And now is the tricky part, that I don't that you see this on camera and I don't mess up. Basically we slide around, need to hold it longer, so that you basically go in. You see the part, the slot, go in the slot, and then you, no, it did already flip out. So you see it needs a bit skill set. I'm gonna do it quick without the camera. Just put it in, as I have trouble to reach around the camera to really show how that works. So basically now it's in there. Basically what we want, you see the slot, we wanna stay with a blade or something in like this and hold the gray plastic with the spring in place, that we can go over the rivets, the 3 rivets, right, like this position. That's all what it is. Then we take out the knife. I had to do it quick away from the camera. It's not easy to reach around it, but this camera view really gives you the great impression as you actually would do it yourself. So that's about it. You press it on, Those are nylon scales, so that is not that much to worry about. You press it in, and then you may use a small padded vise like this one to press it completely on. The goal is to not have any gaps. Say you see here we still have the gaps, right, between the plastic, the nylon, the red one, and the silver aluminum. We still have the gaps, so I'm gonna use quick my nice vise to press it on. That these gaps are gone. So yeah, then we check again the gaps all around the knife, in front, here, all the gaps are gone. This section looks nice. So that pretty much is it. We see the locking tab is in position. As we open the blade, it moves forward, and now because of the spring tension it moves all the way forward and lock the spring in place. Now the blade is locked by the spring. So that's it pretty much. It is a bit more complex to change those scales than the liner lock. The liner lock has no mechanism in the scale, so you just take them off and put the new pair on it. And but it's possible. It's possible. If you run into trouble, you could always ask me if I put it on, or send me the knife. You know, that is not much of a deal. I did that many times, so it's easy. That much about the change of the scale by the slider lock 111mm Victorinox Swiss Army knife. Spare scales and parts, different colors, you can get by swissbianco.com, or you can send me an email or use the contact form on my Swiss Bianco website.